Okay, let's go.
And now to Lexington, where after some frustrating recruiting misses, it appears Mark Pope may be taking a major swing at one of the best players left on the board and, frankly, one of the best shooters in all of college basketball. Kentucky is now heavily involved in Milan Momcilovic, the former Iowa State Cyclone standout, who entered both the NBA draft process and the transfer portal, keeping open the possibility of returning to college basketball. If he doesn't get the draft feedback he wants, i.e., top 10, maybe top 20. Right. Reports out today indicate Kentucky has already had direct Zoom contact with Momcilovic and his camp, and there is strong belief around the sport that Pope is fully engaged trying to land him. And Big Blue Nation should understand this would be a monster get. I don't want to I don't want to overstate it, but Momcilovic is 6'8", a stretch forward, originally out of Wisconsin, and he's become one of the elite perimeter scorers in college basketball. For example, 25-26 season numbers at Iowa State were pretty ridiculous. Almost 17 points per game, 3.1 rebounds per game, 50.6% from the field, 48.7% from three-point range on a very high volume.
And how much did he score on us last year?
20 points in the NCAA tournament. And Craig, you're going to love this. He is 87.8% from the free throw line.
Yeah. I like this guy all the way around. And here's the thing. What I read up about him was he's asking in the $3.5 to $5 million range.
Give him.
We've got Tyrone Stokes money, but if he goes second round where he's predicted or projected, goes second round, that's $1 to $2 million unguaranteed, non-guaranteed money. So if he just goes and learns like we hope Moreno does, and then comes back, then open the bank, get this guy in here, and that will give us a total point production of 97 points a game on our whole team,
right?
From last year's scoring averages. That's massive. That means we can have our starting five in there, and we can bring double-digit scores off the bench.
Yeah, and he's not just a good shooter; he's an absurd shooter for his size, 6'8".
Yeah, he killed us.
Yeah, he's an elite sniper. Been the defense shooter territory over his career, over 3 seasons. 13.2 points per game, 102 games with 101 starts. 260 career-made threes ties him for second most in Iowa State history. So you can look back at what he did to us. 20 points, showed exactly why NBA scouts and now transfer.
I remember he killed us. I couldn't stand him.
Well, I've never seen a game. I've never seen a game turn so bad so quickly in that Iowa State game. They just
lost by 20 points or so, didn't we?
Yeah, 23 maybe.
Yeah, it was not good.
This guy spaced the court, hit contested perimeter shots, made life miserable on closeouts because he's not just a spot-up shooter. The guy's still getting rebounds. And he looked like a Kentucky-type player under Mark Pope against Kentucky and Mark Pope. I mean, this is everything that they've ever wanted. So this is why he fits Mark Pope basketball. I'm just going to make it very, very clear. This guy has elite spacing. Remember, in Mark Pope, coming from the Rick Pitino era, you have to have good spacing and passing, pick and pop ability, shot creation at the 4 spot, floor stretching for a 6'8" guy. I mean, imagine what you'd have to put on him that allows him to then open the driving lanes. And he has veteran experience, and he has an NBA level offensive skill set, including passing. So just imagine this lineup, Craig. Zoom Diallo handling the ball, Momcilovic spotting and popping, Jerome Morton on the wing, potentially Malachi Moreno returning inside. All of a sudden, you're looking at a dangerous out for any team that has to play him. Listen, I'm reading all of the comments, and I'm hearing everything that you're saying. These are mid-major guys that have never played against anybody.
Yeah.
Listen, these mid-major programs have to play people, and they are playing people, and they're scoring these points against good teams.
Yeah, these guys actually score. We've had teams where they've come in and their career average was a total cumulative 40 or 50 points.
Right.
These guys is 90 points. These guys are shooters.
And they know how to score, so that they're gonna get to the basket. Listen, we're not the only people in the mix, obviously, right?
That was going to be my next question. Who else is in?
So the Florida Gators, obviously, they're everywhere we are.
I hate Florida.
The Kansas Jayhawks, who I don't want to even hear about Kansas right now. The Duke Blue Devils, they're obviously monitoring the situation right now, but they're not all in. It doesn't appear that they've spoken with them yet. And then, of course, the draft possibility is still very much alive. This is a very deep draft, though, which is actually very good for Kentucky because that may push Moreno to the end of the first round into the second round, bring him back, may get guys like Momcilovic, who doesn't have that star quality in the NBA, which they look for in a very deep draft. But I will tell you this: here's the rub. If Momcilovic gets a strong second round NBA guarantee, he's probably gone. But
there aren't any guarantees in the second round.
No. If not, college basketball NIL turns into a bidding war for him. Multiple reports indicate he's in the 4 to 5 range, as you said, and that's blue blood territory. That eliminates quite a few people. That leaves us there.
Kansas probably doesn't have that money either.
Not with Tyron Stokes and what they're having to do there. So you're probably looking at us and Duke and Florida, probably the teams right now that have the money to spend, and those are not names that you want to always compete against, especially
Florida. They paid some money to get their star players back too.
They did. They
couldn't go cheap because those guys. I know one of them was the
Hauck's coming back, and he's
a first rounder. He was late first round, but he's still a first rounder.
So you're paying him $5 or $6 million.
Right. Yeah.
So where is Kentucky right now on the board? Who else is on Pope's board? Who knows at this point? We're obviously waiting on Malachi and Moreno, and what the NBA guys tell him where they think he's going to end up. We're continuing to evaluate international options after missing on Marcio Santos to LSU. You mentioned something today about LSU, which I think is fascinating.
It is. Nobody knows this, I don't think.
Santos is the one and only signee and commit at LSU. So listen, UK fans, listen, I understand. We're concerned.
One today, as of today.
They have one signee. So, let's pump the brakes on, we don't have any players. We at least can field a team right now. They're going to be down at the Baton Rouge high schools trying to recruit guys.
Their coach said, I watched the video today, and it's just too much for us to get on today, that he's just going to pay 7 or 8 players. He said, I'm just going to pay the ones that play.
Yep.
But he will have probably 80% team of foreign players. He is really hitting the foreign market hard. He's trying to bring European players in to play at LSU because all the American players are pretty much locked in except for Momcilovic, or however you say his name.
Momcilovic.
Yeah, and there's not many of them guys out there anymore.
No,
so he's hitting it overseas just like Pope is.
Yeah. Obviously, additional portal shooters they're going to be looking at, and wing players remain under evaluation. You're going to be looking in the next couple of weeks, guys who withdraw from the NBA market, who have said they're interested, but then back out. The big question right now, Craig, and I think everybody who watches us and watches all the other shows is asking themselves, can Mark Pope close a deal? That's what Kentucky fans are asking tonight, because if he lands Milan Momcilovic, the offseason narrative changes quickly.
Yeah.
But how many times have we said that already? If he lands this guy, then it changes what everybody's saying. But right now,
we've had players take less money to go to other schools.
We have.
Which is frustrating.
To lesser schools.
I don't understand it. Unless they're guaranteed they're going to be the star of the team or something.
Yeah.
And that's all the money the school could pay. But I don't see, we talked yesterday, we missed 14 out of 20. Pope even addressed it last night when he replied to his X account where he was answering some of the questions. He said, we just missed them. I want to get them next year. We just missed them.
I don't know how that settles with a group that's not.
It wasn't a good response, I'll tell you that.
I bet.
And he got smoked online last night, which it kills my soul.
Yeah.
that these podcasters that got hundreds of thousands of followers, and they just wear Pope out. That cannot help UK. And I wish they just pull their thing and just get off. If they're going to bash Kentucky all the time, then just get off the damn podcast world.
I am fine with people questioning recruiting and questioning
but not right now. At least I'm not, because it's hurting our recruiting.
It is, because I mean, let's be honest. Life has changed over the last 20 years, and fan voices used to just be heard in the arena.
Right.
Now they are heard every day with a megaphone blasting it out to millions of kids who want to amplify that, and then you've got a very few chosen amount of contending players who are hearing everything you say, everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and a lot of it's ugly.
As Cam Williams' dad said on the Loyal BBN fan show, the parents hear it and so do the players.
Yeah.
Or they don't hear it, they see it.
I don't know what happens if Malachi Moreno leaves. That's a major concern for both of us. And after we lost Santos, and
I don't think we really lost nothing there.
I don't think we necessarily did after missing out on Stokes. It sounds like Stefan Joksimovic is going to stay overseas at least for another year. Yep. Kentucky still has clear international interest, but we haven't nailed anybody down yet. And I think, and listen, we've nailed down 12 players. Hear what I'm saying? We haven't nailed down that big name.
Momcilovic could be that big name, because we saw him play against UK, and he played great. I'm screaming at the TV, tackle this guy, foul him every time he crosses half court. But you can't do that because he's darn near a 90% foul shooter. And he drives and scores and gets the and ones, and so he murdered us last year. So if you can't beat him, get him to join us.
I will say this, and this comes from our insider Todd. Todd says he thinks we're 30 to 40% on Momcilovic right now, but he doesn't see anybody else any higher. He thinks that that's about where we're at. But I will also say this from my sources: do not be shocked. Do not be shocked if a random 6'10" Serbian or French league forward suddenly commits in the next 48 hours, with almost no warning. That feels very potential at this point.
And you mentioned that a little bit yesterday.
I genuinely believe that there will be a signing in the next 48 hours, in addition to whatever happens with Momcilovic. I think that they have feelers out all over the country, all over the world right now, and I think you're probably looking at a Serbian or a French league player.
Serbian players are tough.
They are. You like their passing and everything else. So some other things to consider. Some names being discussed right now. There's the kid out of Baylor, Tunde Yusufe, who is still hanging out.
Good at it.
Yeah, I'm trying. Then of course we have Alan Graves, who was at Santa Clara, which once again
another team that beat us.
Another team that got very close. Thank you, Owe, for hitting that shot.
Right.
He's 6'9", 225 pounds forward. He's hanging out there as well, and you may have some other late portal guys. I think you are one marquee piece, one front court body on top of that, and then Moreno returning, and then Kentucky becomes dangerous. I genuinely believe that. I'm not just homering this. I think there is a solid group of kids in there, but you bring a marquee piece in, you bring another body in here that has 5 fouls that you can bang around and can get some rebounds, and then all of a sudden you get Malachi Moreno back. Watch out. Watch out.
Momcilovic is the first player in the last 10 days I've got excited about, because I didn't think we would land the others. But, man, open the bank, back up the truck.
Yeah,
dude, get this guy here. Go fly a G5 and go bring him back, and then have 10,000 fans at Bluegrass Airport.
Absolutely.
And let's get this guy here.
As the great Vince Vaughn told Owen Wilson in the classic Wedding Crashers, you got to lock it up. You got to lock it up. And this is that's what you got to do here. You got to lock this kid up. And if it's a number issue, you put that pride away. 5, 6, what do you want? You want 5, we'll give you a 6, just so you don't take any other offers. So I think that's,
and I'll give you free pizza.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You heard it here first. There's your NIL deal right there, Momcilovic. You want to come to Kentucky? This is one of those things where every night we have to have this section of the program.
I got to slide it in there somewhere, don't I?
Vinci's Pizza, free pizza for you if you will come to Kentucky. So all of you guys watching this right now, send this, spam this all over X and Facebook. So that
we've already got a commitment from Greg Williams, which is Kim Williams' dad, that he might, he said he might bring him down here in June.
Yeah, well, our plan is that if we can arrange that happening, and we've said this before, that we will have a live podcast from Da Vinci's Pizza where people can call in and ask questions as well. So,
okay, let's go.